you have a new Netflix special
Sure.
out called Contrarian.
Right.
Excellent special.
Thank you, man.
For whoever hasn't watched this, if you're a fan of D.L. Hughley on Vlad TV, you absolutely have to watch this. Number one, why the name Contrarian? Because I couldn't quite figure that part out.
I don't even know why that name came up so much, but we would be talking, or I would read an interview that I'd done, or even some of the comments, particularly after I talked to you. After I talked to you, and there was always this sentiment that I was contrary. So it just seemed, I don't think anything I say is all that contrary.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's why I asked.
I don't.
You see what I'm saying?
To me, it's just, it doesn't really resonate, or it's not even all that important to me. But the only import it has is that it's my opinion, and I'll fight vociferously to defend it. But it just seemed to be kind of a moniker that people seem to ascribe to me that I don't particularly understand. But it was kind of tongue in cheek.
Okay, well, you talked about it in the special how we lost Prince, but Bobby Brown's still here.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's how you know God is. He works in mysterious ways.
Right, because I guess it was an intern working that day.
Yeah. It just seems a shame that one of the greatest performers and musicians that ever lived, and seemed to be healthy and vibrant, is gone, and Bobby Brown, who's been on the wild side for a long time, is here making barbecue sauce and living his best life. It's funny to me.
I mean, to be fair, I think Bobby Brown's a great musician.
He is. He's dope. He's dope.
Between New Edition and his solo career, he had some absolute hits.
But he definitely has pushed the envelope.
Compared to Prince, yeah.
Bobby Brown has done so much shit, I'm sure he's shocked he's still here. I'm sure he's
right. Yeah. Remember he had the jaw, like the kind of like the cracked jaw at one point?
I just was hanging out with Bobby Brown. We had a gig in Virginia. And I'm sitting in a bar with Bobby Brown in a hotel, and he starts smoking in the bar after the man, and he's like, and I'm like, Bobby, you saw all these people tell you can't do that. They just told you can't do it. He said, but I'm still Bobby, and he is. That's exactly who he is. That's exactly who he is. And I went, I'm not going to jail fucking with you, and I moved. I'm not going to do it. But that's exactly who he is. So my point was just the juxtaposition of Prince, who had, seemed to live a different life, and Bobby, who pushes the boundaries at every turn and still vibrant and kicking it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw Prince perform maybe like a year or so before he died, and he was thin. He looked healthy.
Right.
I mean, but I guess when you're popping pills, though, you can't tell. So.
Right, you can't. That is the point of popping
pills.
You can't tell. You can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell. You can't tell. Well, you talked about the Me Too movement. Mm-hmm. And you talked about how Bill Cosby should start the Y'all Too movement.
Yeah, but even now, I think that if the predicate is that we're going to go back in time and to prosecute people for their past transgressions, okay. But I think Bill Cosby should have some company, and there should be a whole lot of Catholic priests next to him. There should be a whole lot of people next to him. I remember the dude from Penn State that, that whole apparatus said he was molested for the time he was 13 to the time he's 28. If your coach is still coming after you, and you 28, you got a boyfriend. You just accept that it's couples that ain't been together that long. But the idea that you had all those almost 300 priests, I think in Pennsylvania, which is, I believe, where Bill Cosby is in prison now, and they're not doing time. And I'm not saying that...
Really?
Yeah, no. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be because they aren't. I'm saying they should be because he is, if that's the predicate.
It's interesting, like with Bill Cosby, because I just interviewed Tamala Jones, the actress.
She played my wife in Brothers. Tamala Jones, yeah.
Exactly. Yep. And she had her own kind of interesting history with Bill Cosby. First of all, when she was like in high school, starting out, I guess Bill Cosby told her mother that Hollywood's a tough business and she doesn't have what it takes. So that kind of started things off. And then when she did Booty Call, Bill Cosby went out and said that, this movie is disgusting. and it's there's more to black people than just body parts, and it's like basically he just downed the whole movie after this was her
Right.
first movie opportunity. So we talked about the whole Jeffrey Owens thing, about how I felt that when you're approaching retirement age and you're working at Trader Joe's, to me that looked like a failure as an adult when you're doing that at that age.
Right.
It's a very unpopular opinion. A lot of people bash me over that, but that's just how I feel. And she had an interesting perspective about it. She said, well, the way she looks at it.
I think it's because of him in their mind. He wanted them to all go back to school. You go back to school. You do this. He was really their father. So when they're listening to him and taking his advice, because he is Bill Cosby, I feel like those people, except for Lisa Bonet, because she jumped up out of there and was like, I'm
she started doing
me.
naked photo shoots.
Yeah, because she
did
wasn't
like Angel
listening.
Heart. Remember, she was naked.
I
in that?
loved it.
Yeah.
With Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
Loved that movie. But that was her choice as an artist. And she jumped off the ledge, free falling, and was like, fuck you. I'm going to do what I want to do. It's my life. I don't think anyone working under him had the courage to do that outside of her.
Well, I think two things. One, I think that anything you got to do to take care of your family and you ain't robbing somebody is, I think honorable. But I think one of the things that did happen with Bill Cosby was, whether for better or for worse, to the cast members, you are always going to, there's nothing you can ever do, or the chances of you ever doing anything that registers or imbues itself in the country's psyche that way are very minimal. I don't think you can always see Malcolm Jamal as Theo, and you can always see Rudy is, you're going to always see them the same way. But I think the thing that was, first, that show used to play all over the country, so there had to be some residuals that you were making. You were making residual payment. When they took that show off, people had to get jobs. Because if they're taking the show off and it's not being showed in as many syndicated markets, you're not getting the residuals you used to get. So now you got to work.
Right.
So I think
Right.
as far as Bill Cosby, I don't think Bill Cosby's in jail for what he did as much as for who he pretended he was. Bill Cosby lived his life, seemed to be very judgmental, telling people how to live. I remember the famous pound cake story. He pretended to be something.
Wait, hold on. Which pound cake story?
He told the story about a little boy and how, what if his boy steals a pound cake and the police beat him up? And you cry, the police beat my baby. And he's like, why'd you steal the pound cake? It's interesting that Bill Cosby's in jail with the very dudes he was telling to pull their pants up. But I think,
Yeah.
and again, I think that there is something to be said for the fact that justice seems to be blind, but when it comes to black or brown people, that bitch takes a peek. But I still think that he was very hypocritical in his, like, you telling black comedians how to tell jokes and you drugging broads. You know what I mean? Don't say nigga. Well, rape is a lot worse than nigga. So I think he lived a life that was certainly not what he pretended to be. And I think at a certain point, very few of us can survive Google. I think America's having that problem. I think the idea of America is at odds with the reality of America because people got Google.
Yeah, you can look up anything.
Yeah. Is that true? Let's see.
Nothing ever dies or can get buried anymore.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.